Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys joining me for today's video. Always appreciate that. Guys, today I want to give some tips and advice on what is the best time of the day to fish in terms of, when do the fish bite the best, when do you need to be out there, if you're limited to the amount of time that you can fish, what's the best time? Because it's not easy. It's not simple. In other words, there's not like one shoe that fits everything on the best time of the day. A lot of it is based upon the conditions that you have surrounding the time of day. So I'm going to give you guys sort of an overview, sort of give you a foundation on what's been my experience over the years for the best times of the days in today's video. Also, guys, just two quick housekeeping tips that you guys love to hear every day on the Fishing Teacher here. Just want to invite everybody to please swing by my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. They got a really good sale going on right now where it's the deal's called you buy more, you save more, you get bigger discounts based upon, the more that you buy. So I'll put that link in the description. Also, Solar Bat still has their 20% off sale until the end of October on my Signature Series glasses. Put that link in the description along with all the other ones there too. So I really appreciate that. Okay guys, there's not one single time of the day that is universally better than any other in fishing. It completely depends on a couple different factors. And in my opinion, it depends on the water clarity and the water temperature. I know that you guys probably get tired of hearing me say that. It's always with Randy's water temperature, water clarity, water temperature, water clarity. And that's because it's such a determining factor. It's like so much of bass fishing revolves around those two elements. Don't ever forget that, including time of the day. So here I want to sort of give you a general foundation as far as what to look for as far as the time of day based upon the water that you're fishing. Now, let's talk in a broad generality right off the bat, then we'll get into some specifics. Normally, the cleaner, the warmer the water. It's like we have two ends of the spectrum. The clearer and the warmer the water, the better the time of day is going to be early and late in the day or at night. That's going to be one end of the spectrum. And on the other end of the spectrum, if you have dirty water that's colder, the best time of day is going to be in the middle of the day when the sun is straight overhead there. That's going to be the best time of day. Now, everything else varies based upon the degree which that changes. So, in other words, if you start, say for example, you've got water temperature of 80 degrees and you have water visibility of 10 feet, super clear, super warm. Like I said, night fishing is going to be the best, or right off the bat, as soon as it's a little bit after daylight, it's going to be best, and across the board there. Now, as the water visibility and the water temperature drops, the fish are going to gravitate more towards the greater light intensity. So those greater light intensities are normally going to be, up in the day a little bit more. So that's why, in months like, between November to like March, normally some of the best fishing you're going to have is up in the daytime, like between 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And as that water temperature warms up like over 70 degrees, like you start to get into late April, May, June, July, warmer conditions like that, that's when you're going to have a little bit better success early and late in the day, like right after daylight or right before dark. Don't hesitate to fish at night. Night fishing is so much better than day fishing. Fish bite 10 times better at night anywhere. So that's the general, you can sort of get a gist of the general thing out there. Now, given that, let's say for example, you've got that determination that, if it's cool, if it's cool and dirty. Hold on, Elijah's pounding on this anvil I got him here. I'm gonna have to tell him you gotta be quiet there a little bit. Hey, Elijah, I'm filming a video. Want to wait a second there? I got him. My dad had this anvil that's like 100 years old that we got, and he's been using it to pound on there. You want to show him your anvil here, and then you're gonna have to be quiet for just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm pounding on it.
Okay, show him what you make.
I'm making a sword right now. We already finished it, but I'm just trying to get the metal flat.
Okay, well, let us finish the video before you start doing it.
Wait, let me get a hammer.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Okay. Sorry about that. So, once you have that foundational element that I've just talked about in terms of water clarity and water temperature, being early or late up in the middle of the day, the next thing you have to realize is that there are bite windows. that occur throughout the day. Now, unless you're on the extreme where it's, dirty water and cooler water, or warm water and gin clear water, if you're anywhere in the middle of that, which most lakes are, where you have, 2 to 4 foot of visibility and water temperatures are just, how they are 6 months out of the year, there's going to be different windows that the fish bite the best. Now, those windows, there's not really any rhyme or reason to them. It's like they just are what they are. But one of the things that I found out, guys, if you can be on the water most of the time between like 10 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when the bigger fish bite. It's like I look back at, most of the really big bass I've caught in my life, over 7 pounds. I bet probably 80% of them have come during that time frame, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And I've talked to a lot of guys that have said the same thing. So that's another factor. Another thing that you can do is there are different feeding windows based upon like the moon sometimes, and different type of weather patterns that come in. A lot of times if you have a weather pattern that comes in, right before that front hits, where that barometric pressure is really dropping fast, that can be some of the best time of day to fish. You sort of have to let the fish tell you that. But if you've ever noticed it when you're out fishing, it's very rarely that the fish are biting all day long. Usually, like, you'll get out there in the morning and you may catch a few, and then you'll go through a little dry spell for 2 or 3 hours. Then around noon they start biting a little bit better. Then they stop biting, and then at 3 o'clock you might start catching a little bit more. So there's different windows that they actually feed at. Now, how you can get around this is you have to realize that you're not targeting those fish that are actively feeding, because most of the time those fish are feeding at night. You're trying to trigger strikes from bass from a reaction standpoint. That's why a lot of your moving baits, like your spinner baits, chatter baits, crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, they're some of the best lures you can use when those fish are not actively feeding, because they generate a reaction strike and not an actively feeding strike. But in general, the main thing, guys, with that is bass do prefer low light levels most of the time. Unless it's really, really cold out there, they simply make more mistakes if the light levels are low. So try to take advantage of that. Overall, you're probably going to catch more fish early and late in the day. You may not catch as big ones early and late in the day. And again, a lot of it depends on your technique. If you're flipping and pitching heavy cover, probably you're not going to do that good right off the bat in the morning. It's probably going to be a deal where up in the day it's going to be good. Or if you're fishing boat docks and the fish tuck underneath those docks to get into the shade, sometimes up in the day is going to be better. But if you're fishing something like a bare main lake point that has some clean water in it, it's going to probably be better under those low light conditions, especially since they don't have a lot of cover to go into. And that's another thing. In general, the more cover that you have, the better the fish bite up in the daytime when the light intensities are brighter, and the less cover that you have, normally it's better early and late in the day. So just keep an open mind, man. Just listen to the fish. Let the fish ultimately tell you what the best time of day is, and that's just the best way to approach fishing any day. So hope it helps out. We'll talk later.